did start this year with just shy of $8,700 in that fund. We're not really accumulating money quickly, but we could budget what we're expecting to bring in next year. And that, as President Pro Tem Connor said earlier, we could use that on unexpected repairs to the city building or other improvements. We likely keep it at the city building for those improvements.
And that can also be used for curbs, correct?
I'd have to look up the state statute again, President Pro Tem Connor.
Okay.
I'll tell you that 6,300 is not going to get you very much in curbs, though.
No, I know, but I just wanted to make sure it could be used if we needed it.
Yeah, let me, I'll have to go back to that code citation I sent out before. I can try to get that out to the council tomorrow. Any other discussion regarding CCI? All right, next is Riverboat. So we have received $17,137.90 in the Riverboat Fund annually for every year 2013 through 2018, with the exception of 2016. And I didn't look at 2019 what we brought in. Now Riverboat, council previously didn't budget the full amount that we had coming in. I recommended putting it at 10,000 once again for kind of unexpected improvements or improvements that need to be made to City Hall. I would recommend setting it at 10,000. It's not the full amount, but we can, the rest of that money would go to the reserves, which we're currently, have that additional appropriation for sidewalks. So we can build up that fund with any reserves that we don't budget. We have discussion regarding Riverboat. There are two funds that I have not included yet. Sorry, did we have somebody say something? Okay. There are two funds that I have not included yet. One is police pension. We still have one recipient from the old police pension plan. Tell me if I'm wrong, the state of Indiana gives us that money, and then we're more or less a pass-through to the recipient. And the state of Indiana dictates how much that amount is that we receive and that we disperse. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, I have to fill out a form for them every year that shows exactly what we spent in the previous year for Iris. And then at that point in time, then they make the determination and they fund enough to fund her for another year. And then that's in 2 installments that comes in, which it always comes into our general account, and then we have to transfer it to police pension. It's a separate account, and then that is solely for her retirement benefit.
When does the state tell us how much that amount's going to be?
It's way after the fact. Usually they tell me about the raise way after the fact. You don't seem to get it ahead of time. I fill out a form, and I think that form is due to them. I believe it is in November or December, but I have to fill that before the end of the year. I have to fill that form out and send it in. And a lot of times when I get the first installment is when I realize how much we should have been paying Iris, so we have to backtrack and make an adjustment to her. This year we found out in May, which was a little bit ahead of schedule, but we had already made payments to her, so we had to make an adjustment and pay her, and then we'll pay her that amount the rest of the year. And sometimes I never hear anything at all. I just get the money and then have to go from there.
All right, thank you, Clerk Treasurer. So for the council, you will see a police pension budget somewhere around $15,000, and that's that purpose. The other fund that I have not put it in here because I'm waiting on a quote is for highway relinquishment. Now the city of Delphi received $1.25 million or $1.25 million when we accepted what is now East Main Street from the state of Indiana. That money, the city council passed an ordinance when we received that to use it solely on East Main Street. However, the city of Delphi received community crossings funds for that project. So we started this year with just shy of $490,000 in reserves after we had already done the improvements to East Main Street. So the city council last year budgeted that full amount as our community crossings match for this year. I don't anticipate using all of those funds. Somewhere around $180,000 to $190,000 of those funds should be used as our match this year. And my recommendation when we get the quote back is that we use some of that money for engineering a complete reconstruction of Market Street between Adams and Monroe. The reason Market Street, it is one of our worst rated roads in the city. We have issues with the storm in where it exits. Not to mention the dilapidated curb walk and a tired roadway. So when we get that quote back, I would like to budget the amount of that quote out of highway relinquishment to continue using those funds to improve the streets in the city of Delphi. And with the hope that after we get engineering done, we could apply for community crossings and get 75% of that project matched. We have discussion from the council regarding highway relinquishment.
When NDOT relinquished that stretch of roadway and gave us the funds, it was designated solely for the use on that stretch of roadway. And that's what our ordinance says. I'd like to know the statute that's allowing you to take that money and use it as a grant match.
Well, I'll have to do some research on that, Gail.
I can take
Shane, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Liam.
When they relinquished that highway to us and made that settlement with it, and I'll see if I still have some paperwork on it. It's my understanding they made no stipulations whatsoever. It was determined then to create an ordinance that said that that money would be used because the maintenance of that whole section would then belong to the city. So Abigail Diener was our attorney at that time, and she drew up that ordinance. It was not a requirement by the state of Indiana, NDOT, or anyone else. As far as I know, there was no stipulations put on that money at all at the time it was relinquished to us. It was just simply stated, it's yours. You take care of it from now on, and here's your amount of money for consideration. So that ordinance came way after that was done. And Abigail Diener handled that for us. So she could clarify that a little better if you need it, but that's the way it was set up.
Yeah, the ordinance 3212 states that it is to be that stretch of roadway, and when NDOT relinquishes these roadways, they did the same thing in Carmel, and they gave Carmel $90 million. And there was discussion at the time, and NDOT does expect that the money be used for that stretch of relinquished highway. So before that $489,489 goes anywhere, somebody needs to verify that it can be used for something other than that roadway. I'm not saying it can't. I'm saying it's time to be accountable for what's what. Our ordinance says that stretch of highway. Aaron said at the time to replace that on our own nickel someday will cost millions. This money is earmarked for that. Some of it was already used for that. We need to be more accountable with what we're doing with our money.
You know, as it pertains to the ordinance, the city council passed that ordinance, and the city council has the ability to amend that ordinance. As it relates to the 2020 budget, the budget is an ordinance that is passed by the common council, and the inclusion of the community crossings matching grant is seen as an amendment to that.
And that's why the
original
attorney
ordinance.
needs to
Please let him finish speaking.
This is ridiculous. That ordinance was not amended. The budget ordinance was another separate budget. During the budget ordinance, the council did not amend that budget and change it on the book. It's there as the ordinance was written in 2014. It's still there. So what I'm saying is before any of that money goes anywhere, somebody needs to figure out what's what and what is legal. Because once it's gone, it's gone.
All right, thank you, President Pro Tem Connor. That is the end of the budgeted funds. The other items that we have, I will have to amend when we get to wages, but we do have to pass the salary ordinance and the wages ordinance before the beginning of November. I've included those. It should say version A, not version B. I copied off of last year's and just changed the numbers. Same goes
Whatever
with
we can do
the
about
wages
that.
ordinance. We gotta have that passed.
Go ahead and finish, Shane, please.
What's that?
Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Oh, go ahead,
We're
Bill.
not done with the budget. Income tax, and we need to create a fund for that. We have no fund for that, and we're getting money there. We're not done. I've already discussed this with you. I don't know why you just want to pass over things and not have accountability for them. I know everybody thinks I'm trying to beat you up. I want some accountability. Yes. Lit funds now instead of low it, so there's no need for a low it budget, but we do need to do something with our lit fund. It's a lot of money.
Okay, I'm gonna continue to the wages
You want to
ordinance.
share with the council how much
In the back at
money
this
we're getting
point,
for this?
for the wages ordinance, I will have to amend the chief of police hourly rate to reflect the discussion today. Everything else should be fine. There will be, depending on if it gets approved for firefighter run pay, I believe we will need a section in the wages ordinance that specifies how that will get dispersed. So that will be something looking to add that into the wages ordinance. Clerk Treasurer Aldridge, I guess, is there anything I missed in terms of this packet?
I just looked at that. We missed our airport manager on the salary, wage and salary for the general.
That's a
employee.
contract employee.
I'm not seeing it. I pay him through.
No, he's the airport manager, correct?
Yeah, I know he is,
Well,
but we
all right.
pay him through.
The
We
wages,
pay him through payroll, so I think to be safe, it needs to be on there.
playing anything further?
No, I don't think so.
President Pro Tem Connor, go into your comments regarding lit, and let's see, the tax levy, some other items. Historically, we have not done that at the budget workshop. I'm not prepared documentation regarding that, and I'm unprepared to have that discussion at this time. That can be something that's discussed at the first reading of the budget ordinance in September.
Can you tell me why you're not prepared to discuss that tonight when I brought it to your attention and asked you about it a couple of times? It should be part of our budget tonight. It should be part of the workshop. The rest of the council should know that we have these funds and we need to create a budget fund for it. It's something fairly new because LOIT and CAGIT and CDIT all got put under one new acronym. LIT stands for local income tax, and we need to have a fund for it. The State Board of Accounts will tell you that. If you'd like to see the email from them, I'll share that with you too. It's just really frustrating that we're at this point. I don't enjoy this.
I'm having a
And I
blast.
think
Why don't you send me over that email from State Board of
members to not share all of the information with them.
Well, this is historically what we've had for budget workshops in the past.
I know. I'm well aware.
Be more than happy for them to have it available at the first reading of the ordinance. I guess this concludes our budget workshop. Any final words from members of the council? President Pro Tem Connor?
No.
Councilwoman Flora?
No, I thought that was pretty good for our first budget workshop.
Thank you. Councilman Isley?
I appreciate all the work you did getting this all prepared for us, and as Ms. Flora said, I thought we did pretty good. Little discussion, but I thought it went pretty well. So thank you, Mayor Evans, for all your work you've done and the help you've given us.
Thank you, Councilman Kingery.
You're muted if you're talking.
Councilman Kingery,
Thanks.
you still there?
One question real quick on the LOIT funds. Is the documentation in that binder you gave us last year or at the beginning of this year for last year's budget? Or is that all new this year?
There are some differences. There should be some documentation in there.
Okay.
But I can't remember the full extent, Spencer.
Okay. All right. That's all I had a question on. It's
And I think you got put in jet funds.
I can't hear what you say.
The money got put in general fund. I asked the mayor the other day with the funds for this year, we're getting a monthly payout or quarterly payout, and the money is going into general fund. There is no more LOIT. That was done away with by the state. And it's all in LIT, which stands for local income tax, and the money that we're getting now is being put in the general fund.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Councilman Nelson, oh, sorry, Councilman Kingery, you had a question?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Councilman Nelson?
Yeah, I guess I would just say thank you for putting this together here towards the end of your, mayoral position, and yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, and thanks you guys for a good budget workshop. There's one last motion to be made.
I would motion that we adjourn this virtual meeting.
Second. Do we have Jody Nelson with a motion? Do we have a second? Second. All right. All the question as to adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 It's yelled out. It's an adjournment. All right. Opposed? All right. Thanks. We will see you Saturday in person at the community center, 7 p.m.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.